Hello, people. Hello. I know it's been a minute since you've seen this beautiful face. I know I'm not that beautiful, but it is what it is. Back in another episode of Donia Sports. We kind of, I kind of had a little roller coaster flight. I'm gonna say that. If you follow the TikTok page, you keep up with everything with the news. But NBA. We didn't talk about NBA and all that kind of stuff. But we are gonna be talking about the draft right now. Congratulations to the New York Knicks winning the title. Ty's team, and it's been a minute. And everything. We got the World Cup going on. I will do a breakdown of the World Cup, the round 32 games and all that kind of stuff. Because right now we're in the group stage and everything. But you keep up the TikTok, you see me talk about the games a little bit. Not every game, but the games like I kind of care about because, it's my page. I'm not going to talk about every single game in my opinion. But they're great games, though. Great games. I gotta love soccer right now. I mean, football and everything. USA, Holland, hopefully that game against Holland's going to be really good. But yeah, we'll be later in the video. We'll talk about where the channel is going to go in the future and what I'm having ideas with it. But right now, let's hop into the NBA draft. We got it on Tuesday. The NBA draft is on Tuesday, and the Wizards, they won the NBA draft. Excitement news for them, and plus this is the last year of the traditional tanking rules. Because after this year, Adam Silver's new rule that you can't really tank. And you got limited, if anything. So it's going to be very interesting how the NBA is going to be with the future because you have the CBA, the new rules with the NBA draft. The NBA is pretty much saying you can't suck or you can't be good. You got to be either just decent for 1 year and the next year you can't do anything. Because it's so tough to go back-to-back now in this era because we have 8 different champs right now. That's the most ever in NBA history. Can we talk about that? Most ever. And I don't even know if the Knicks are going to go back-to-back. In my opinion, I knew the Knicks were going to win because you forget the Pacers were not healthy. The Celtics were inconsistent with their health because they only had Jaylen Brown. Detroit was too young, and the Cavs were inconsistent. It was just depending who they were going to play in the West. And San Antonio was just very young and unexperienced in that finals at the time. And OKC, they got hurt in the Western Conference Finals with AJ Mitchell and J-Dub got hurt. So it was due for them next year, if anything. So congratulations to Jalen Brunson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG, Mikal Bridges, that whole group, Josh Hart, all those guys on that. But enough of me talking. NBA draft now. So Wizards have their first pick, of course. First time in a minute, and they've been sucking forever. Who do I think is going to be here, okay? Darryn Peterson and AJ Dybantsa are the two guys, okay? Trae Young kind of a couple days ago on Monday, a couple days ago. Free agency also starts tomorrow, if I'm correct. Opted out his contract. This team is very intriguing because AJ Dybantsa, he's a great player. I don't think anyone's going to watch it. I don't think he wants to. Peterson, though, wants to be a Wizard so bad. He also said he's only trained for one team, and it's been the Wizards. I think I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Trae Young does not come back unless he gets a big contract. Peterson could be the guy. Darryn Peterson. And I like that team of Darryn Peterson with the point guard situation with Trey Johnson and other individuals. I just don't know. AJ Dybantsa just doesn't seem like he wants to be the first overall pick, but it's the Wizards. The Wizards, we haven't seen the Wizards be anything decent since John Wall and Bradley Beal. Don't get me wrong, this is a great team for the Wizards, if I gotta say. But it's just, I mean, you got, you have Keaton George, Bill Colomba, can't even say his name right. Alex Sarr and Anthony Davis, who's going to get traded possibly. God. Another interesting fact, if you get the first overall pick, anytime you had AD on your team or you trade away AD, you get the first overall pick. Yeah, intriguing. I don't know. It's a tough pick, but if I got to say, I might have to go Peterson. I'm going to go Peterson here. I think Darryn Peterson goes first. I know AJ Dybantsa is the best player, but I think Peterson is showing himself to be that guy. I know it's a bold take, but give me Darryn Peterson with the first overall pick. The Jazz now. Right here is the definition of luck, if anything, because these guys, if they get AJ Dybantsa, a guy from BYU, the owner is alumni from BYU also. Right there. So I think the Jazz really want AJ Dybantsa on this team. And this Jazz team, they have a lot of guys. Walker Kessler a couple days ago said he didn't sign his new contract, so he's going to be open to the free market a little bit, question mark. I don't know if he's a restricted free agent, but if they want to match his offer. That team with, Ace Bailey, Keaton George from Baylor, Keaton George, and then you still have Jaren Jackson, who they traded for this past season. It's a very tall lineup. And I think if they add AJ Dybantsa with Ace Bailey, this is a win, kind of an interesting team. If I'm a coach, I would be intrigued about the Utah team. I mean, I don't know much about the Utah coaching staff and all of that, but I think if I'm Utah, you got to make a move this year. If you get AJ Dybantsa or either Darryn Peterson, that is a home run hit in my opinion. And I really like that move for this team, most likely. But we'll see if this happens, though, if their trade or not happens. But I do think AJ and Darryn Peterson are 1, 2, 1B, in my opinion. One of those guys are going first or second, in my opinion. Going to Memphis now. Memphis is a very interesting spot. I say that for sure because I look at Memphis. We forget it's John Morant's team still over there, unless they trade him, barring anything happens there. They don't really got anything else there. I've got to say that. Zach Edey, Jay Williams, Cedric Howard. He was pretty decent, if anything, this last season. Walter Clayton Jr., who they get traded for, in the trade for Jaren Jackson. I think Boozer would be perfect because I think they need another big man in that position, a younger big man. I think Boozer would be perfect in that system. I mean, if they still want to stay with the era of John Morant, or honestly, Caleb Wilson wouldn't be bad either. Caleb is not bad. I mean, this draft is one of the best. We say in recent history, there's a reason why I came back because I want to talk about this damn draft because this draft is so historically great. Because the top 5, top 6 is just phenomenal. Most likely, I do think it's going to be a tough decision for Grizzlies, but I do think you go Cameron Boozer here. I think Boozer could be a guy, but in the storyline, Cameron Boozer with the Bulls, that'll be a historic line, if anything. But I do think Boozer is your guy at 3, most likely. It's still a debate right there with Caleb Wilson. Then the Bulls, I think they go Caleb Wilson. There's not a hesitation that you got to get one of these guys. The Bulls, the luck of their drought of everything being a play-in team and all of that, and this year finally getting the top 5 pick they needed forever is historic for them. And I do love this pick for them. Getting Caleb Wilson at this pick would be phenomenal for this team. Pairing with, you still got Josh Giddey on this team. You still got Alfred Simmons after the Kobe White trade. You still got a lot of guys on this team, this Bulls roster. And this Bulls team, this pick has to be a home run because you forget, they don't got Billy Donovan, if I'm correct. This is a whole new front office. This is a whole new team. And we'll see how this team goes. I mean, you still got Robert Dillingham. We're still waiting for that guy to have a breakout season, or if anything. I don't know. Trey Johnson, Matthew Blusiv, can't say his name right. Colin Sexton. This is very a point guard team needy. I do think though, if they get Caleb Wilson or Boozer, I do think this will put themselves in a position to be successful. So one of the things is the top 4 can go interchangeable, if anything. But you enter the top 5 now. Okay, not top 5. Number 5th overall pick. The Clippers. They could have been the Pacers pick, but the luck of the Pacers kind of screwed them over because, they traded for Zubac, and this was the outlet. They got the 5th overall pick through 9. It was going to the Clippers pick, and what are the odds? It was the Clippers pick. The Clippers is entertaining to me because, the Kawhi era has been entertaining. They got Benedict Mathurin on his team. I look at this roster. You could say big man is a concern for them. I mean, they got Darius Garland from the Harden trade, and I think Darius is not bad. You still got John Collins. You still got a couple of individuals on this team: Jordan Miller, Isaiah Jackson, and Yamek, the guy that their young center of the future, and then Derrick Jones, of course, a great defender. It's a decent team. You could say they need another point guard, in my opinion, if they can run the second offense. If they believe in Darius Garland, if they actually do. Because I think if you go here, if you're this team, it has to be a true point guard. I could say either a playmaker. I mean, Kidston Fields is a great playmaker, if anything, but he's a great defender also. Darius Acuff, one of the best offensive point guards in this draft. The concern with him is, can he play defense on the back end? That's why I think it wouldn't be a bad pick if you took Darius Acuff right here with Darius Garland, and you still have Benedict Mathurin, a great defender. That can end interchangeable right there. So I think you go either Kidston Fields or Acuff right here, and I do think you go most likely. It's tough for me. As a Mavs fan, I will pray that Aiko falls to 9, if anything, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think Kinston Williams is going to be fifth. I know that hasn't been anything crazy. Like saying you're just running down the top five mostly. I am going to say that. This might be a change, though. I think the Nets here. Nets, we forget, they drafted like 4 point guards last year. Not bad. Not bad at all. They definitely need forward help, if I gotta say. They don't really need a point guard with this team. Um, but most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if Keaton Walker is their guy right here. He can play the three, he can play the one, he can play the whatever your top three positions, in my opinion. 6'6" guy. He's a great defender too, great shooter. I mean, he carried that team in Illinois all the way kind of to the Final Four. And I'm a big high praise of him. I would love him to go to the Mavs also, but I do think he goes six most likely. I know I'm just rambling the top six, if anything. Um, Now the Kings. Okay, the Kings are in a tough position, I gotta say, when I think about this team. They got hoed in this draft. Same with the Nets, because they should have been top five. Um, the Kings, they need a point guard bad. I wouldn't be surprised as Acuff or Berries, one of those guys, because they do need a guy to run this offense. I think that is interchangeable right there. Or you could say Mikael Brown. Mikael Brown's not bad. He's not a bad guy either, I say. Um, but I think it could go interchangeable right here. I think if you want to think if the Kings want a guy that can run their offense really well, I think Acuff can bring back that Kings offense like how Fox was for them in the prime. So I wouldn't be surprised this could be the pick for them. So maybe I go. There's Acuff. And then the Hawks, they just re-signed today or a couple days ago CJ McCollum to another deal. They need a point guard. Mikael Brown can run their offense for this team, in my opinion. This guy's a really good guy for Louisville. The only question was his health during that tournament, and he came back. He was pretty decent. I think he's another guy that you could get right here. So I think the top 8 honestly stayed the same. I mean, I think it's just you run down the line, it's kind of decent. And I think my Mavs here, Braden Burries. He's not bad. Burries is really good. You forget that Arizona team was Kobe and him, 2 freshmen leading that team to the Final Four. That's what makes this team very decent, if anything, kind of different of other years of Arizona, even though they got blown up by Michigan, but it happens because that Michigan team was just dominant, if anything. But holy shit, yeah. But interchangeable of that, do I think Mikael Berries, or my bad, Braden Berries could be the guy for the Mavs? I mean, because, pairing up with Kyrie, Cooper Flag, this team is looking young, and they're going to keep Kyrie. I honestly do like this matchup for the Mavs. Getting Berries could be the 1 or the 2 for this team for the future with Cooper Flag. So I think it's not a bad pick, and he's only 20 years old if I'm correct. Now this gets interesting. I think the Bucks here, they need their next guy, their next, Giannis Antetokounmpo, because he might get traded, but Giannis said a couple days ago he doesn't want to get traded anymore. I don't even know how this guy is going roller coaster right now. But most likely, I think Nate Abbott. This guy's going to make a GM get fired no matter what, but he has a very decent ceiling, I got to say, but he was terrible in the NCAA tournament. I was like, holy shit, this guy sucked. This guy has a lot of ceiling, a lot of praise, but the floor is holy cow. If this guy's successful, great player, but if he's terrible, you got a GM fired. I do think he goes 10 overall, most likely. I do think it's like this. I don't think it's going to be any crazy change, in my opinion, in this draft so far. You look at this, because I think it's still the same. And it goes back to another thing of, Steve Kerr, the Warriors. This guy loves small ball. You know who fits a small ball type of team? Yaxel, the guy, the best college player last year for the, the Michigan Wolverines. Was very much the guy who helped that team to get all the way to the title. I think that's a great move if Yaxel is a Warrior. Because Draymond's getting old. Curry needs another guy. Unless this pick gets traded for someone else, I don't even know. Yaxel could be, honestly, a great fit for the Warriors. Could be the next star of the new era, but it depends how Steve Kerr uses his players, because this guy's in a mediocre era because he wants to win at the same time, but he also wants to build a roster. That is the downfall of the Warriors. They want to rebuild, but at the same time, they want to win championships. You got to pick, or you got to either go all old or all young. It's not, you can't have both. It's very tough. It's very tough in this day of age of NBA, but I mostly see them getting Yaxel unless this pick gets traded. OKC. OKC with this pick, getting the 12th pick. This is from the Clippers, also from the trade for the Paul George trade, the last of this pick, hopefully. It's kind of shocking. I think you go Adam, the center from a day. My bad, Marin from Michigan. Also, depending on how Hartenstein does come back or anything, or if they want to keep Hartenstein or make a trade or something this offseason, we saw in that playoff game against Victor, it wasn't great. They need another big man in that rotation. I know Jay Williams is great. The guy looks like Duke Dennis or everything, the light skin version. But I think you go a day. I love Chet. Chet's great and everything, but he's just was a liability. He was scared against Victor. You need a guy who's not scared, who's a big man, who's a big stop guy, who can stop in the paint. Because Hartenstein's aggressive, but get a guy who's like almost the same height as Victor. Get your Wimby stopper. This could be the guy for them. And I do think a day could be honestly perfect for this team. And we'll see how this does this team. If in case we forget Case and Walls, AJ Mitchell's coming back, this team is going to be very different of anything because you can't run it back with this team. So you got to improve this team, and I do think a day could be that guy. This pick could be traded also. The Miami Heat. Miami Heat's in a tricky spot with the 13 overall pick. I don't know what they go here because this team is in a particularly of like a spot like you don't know. They still have a great team. I think they are going to be more aggressive this offseason to pursue players to bring here because Trae Young, Giannis Antetokounmpo, those type of guys are their goal because, Pat Riley wants to win a championship again. He wants to bring that Abster back, that kind of the old LeBron, Dwayne, Bosh type of team. So this pick could be traded. Hero could be traded. If this pick is not traded, I could see them take another point guard or put him with Davion Mitchell to run this offense. It's a very concerning pick. A guy comes to my mind is the Alabama guy, Philon. He's not bad. He ran the offense pretty good for Bama. This pick, I just don't see them keeping. I think this is most likely going to get traded, if anything, in my opinion, with this. So, yeah. The Hornets, though. Hornets, they need a guy who could get a damn defensive stop. They need a guy who could just lock up anyone who's like a dual threat player because Miles Bridges is solid. The center position is questionable. LaMelo is LaMelo. Because the thing is, the Hornets team has a lot of potential with this team. Because Khan, decent last year, great guy, but did choke in the play-in games. Did not show up at all because that guy shit the bed. But at least Cooper Flagg won the Rookie of the Year. Doesn't matter in my opinion because that story's dead. So, the Hornets, though, I do think you have a decent team with Brandon Miller, Khan, LaMelo, Miles Bridges. I do think the center position might be concerning unless you want to run small ball still with this team. But I do think it's most likely if you want to keep this team going, I think you got to go another forward. Hastings Stitchbatch from Washington, he's not bad. You could go get another point guard, run this offense, but Kobe White's that type of guy. He's a good six-man if I like that, okay? Marzo Johnson, he was not bad for Michigan. Johnson was not bad at all. Chris from Houston, he's a five-star center, but he wasn't that type of player from Houston for this team. So it's a very interchangeable pick for the Hornets. It depends where they want to go with this pick. I could honestly see them going defense right here with Johnson from Michigan. He's a good center, not bad. 6'9", though. It's more of a small ball type of team. While you look at Chris Sintok, 6'10", 6'11", almost could have run the forward position, the 4 or the 5. I don't know. They got to go defense right here. So I wouldn't be trying to go center. It's either Chris or Johnson Jr., one of the junior guys at this position. So I might go Moser Johnson right here. We'll see how that goes. But, yeah, I'm not going to run down everything in this draft because, this is a good draft, I got to say, because I'm only doing the lottery aspects of it because, we only care about the lottery because after that, no one gives a crap about the rest of the draft unless there's still sneaky gems. That's the difference between NBA and NFL draft. Lotteries when the spicy stuff is. But that is it for today's episode of that. I know I have been gone for a minute. Definitely get back this up if you don't worry about that. We'll talk about some World Cup games. Hopefully I get some more people on this episodes or on this channel because Ty's been busy with life stuff. But we'll see. But thank you for joining me in this episode of Donia Sports. Like and subscribe and more news, more videos to come. Thank you.